there, I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day. So glad to have you with me as I take you around San Diego. I'll catch you up on the top stories and look ahead at what's to come. We do begin, though, with a public health crisis. 2 teenagers are in custody for the death of a Southern California teen who took pills laced with fentanyl at school. It happened in Los Angeles County, but we're certainly seeing a spike in opioid-related overdoses in San Diego, too. Here's CBS 8's Amanda Shotsky.
I spoke to an addiction specialist who said that fentanyl can now be found in about 80% of all accidental overdoses.
You can run, but you can't hide. We're coming for you.
A strong message to drug dealers from the LA Unified School District superintendent. This coming 2 days after a 15-year-old student collapsed and died on a high school campus after taking a Percocet laced with fentanyl. It's a tragic scenario that's quickly becoming all too common.
Young people are really targeted now more so than ever before because they're seen as a consumer of the future.
Addiction expert Scott Silverman is the founder and CEO of Confidential Recovery in San Diego. He says fentanyl has brought the opioid crisis to another level.
I think of fentanyl as the new weapon of mass destruction because it's a poison.
In San Diego, the number of accidental overdoses has gone up by 33%, with just over 1,300 deaths within a year's time. Those numbers prompting county supervisors to declare a fentanyl public health crisis. The synthetic opioid is often found in counterfeit pills that can look like candy, but officials say that powdered fentanyl has become more common. The drug is 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine.
With most people take it, they die from it. So it's not a party drug.
Silverman spent 3 years researching the troubling surge in synthetic drug use for his book entitled The Opioid Epidemic, with a goal to educate and find real solutions. But it's been an uphill battle.
I sent it to every governor in the country. I got 5 thank you notes and 1 book sent back saying we don't take gifts. That's not the way we're going to fix this.
He says protecting children begins with open communication between parents and kids, not just a one-time check-in, but an ongoing conversation that happens on a daily basis.
We're going to lose a generation in the next decade if we don't do something.
If you're struggling with substance abuse, you can also call 211 to be connected to county services. I'm Amanda Shotsky, CBS 8.
Amanda, thank you. And parents and students in Vista are outraged over what appears to be a hazing incident at Vista High School involving football players. The incident was shared online in a video and has led the district and sheriff's department to launch an investigation into what happened. Parents gathered in front of the school on Wednesday to protest and demand accountability. CBS 8's Rocio De La Fe has more on the turnout.
Dozens of parents, students, and even former students are calling on the school and district to take more action to make sure that what happened inside the school's locker room never happens again. With signs, chants, and their voices, a large number of parents, students, and community members gather to protest what they call a pattern of abuse at Vista High School.
We want justice!
The San Diego County Sheriff's Department and the Vista Unified School District are investigating after a student on the school's football team was reportedly bullied by other students inside the locker room. The incident was all caught on camera and then widely shared on social media. The video shows a student being picked up and thrown into another room where he was then reportedly verbally and physically assaulted. Levin Demirdian is a former student at Vista Unified School District who says he went through a similar experience and is angered that it could happen again.
I was sexually assaulted in both middle school and in high school, and when I reported that the school did absolutely nothing about it, or if they did take action, it wasn't enough. But when I see something like this, it angers me because I'm realizing it's going to be the same thing that happened to me, and I don't want to see that happen again.
Lupe Trejo's son recently graduated from high school, but says when he was a freshman at Vista High, he too knew of a student who was assaulted. She says at first she didn't want to believe her son when he told her until she found out it happened again several years later.
It's a hazing that goes on every year. How can it be identical? And I just want everybody to know it's not a one-time thing.
Trejo says she reported it to the school and was told she had to notify police. She's one of the many parents who showed up to demand the district take stricter action against those responsible and put an end to the misconduct.
From what I've heard, nothing has been done. They're still playing football. They're still in school, and
Rocio De La Fe there reporting. And parents whose children need a little extra help with homework just got a new option. The state just announced it will be offering free online tutoring to all Californians, and it's available around the clock. CBS 8's Jasmine Ramirez walks us through the website and shares what local parents are saying.
The free online tutoring is available in every K-12 subject, and it's fairly easy to use. First, just click the live tutoring option, then select which grade, then you'll select which subject, click Get Live Help, and you're connected with your tutor right away. Now parents and kids can get immediate homework help.
I remember, heck, when I was in middle school, my dad would always say, well, I don't know how to do this, but I'll find you the answer. And now it's like you just log on and there's the answer.
Sean and Rakaya have 3 kids of their own.
I think it's really great that they're doing it. I think that it's going to be very helpful for a lot of parents and maybe a lot of the magnet schools if you don't speak the language for your kids. That might be pretty helpful to have that free translation.
Other parents are on the same page.
That actually sounds great.
Kay says it will help his child who has autism.
That probably help, especially kids like my son probably need a lot of help.
There's tutoring for science, reading, writing, social studies, and math.
Math is a subject that was always harder for me, and then tutors and teachers online were always helpful.
You'll find an online foreign language lab and 24-hour writing lab to get feedback on essays. The site isn't just for kids. It even offers skill-building resources for adult learners. You can find more information about the free online tutoring and how to access it on CBS8.com. Just click the Help button. Jasmine Ramirez, CBS 8.
Jasmine, thanks. And things are getting back to normal here, but it was another hot and humid week. Experts warn that those conditions aren't just impacting how we feel, but when it comes to students and how they learn. Shannon Handy spoke to a UC San Diego professor about a series of studies that show when the temperature rises, test scores drop.
UC San Diego has conducted several studies on this topic. The lead author tells me with global warming, conditions will continue to heat up, which is why we need to address the problem before it gets any worse.
I constantly had to focus in such discomfort.
Jordan Pickney is a senior at Castlebark High School in Chula Vista. While classrooms there do have air conditioning, he says the transition from outside to inside during this heat wave has been brutal.
I feel disgusting when I'm sweating outside and I sit in a classroom to have all of that stuff dry back on me.
Jordan's experience isn't surprising, says UC San Diego professor Joshua Graf-Ziven.
We're talking about real impairment in cognitive performance.
He's been researching this very topic for years, specifically how weather impacts students' learning and test scores.
Once we hit the 80s, we see detriments in performance, and those detriments get bigger and bigger as the temperature gets hotter.
Graf-Ziven says several studies have proven this to be true, starting from elementary school through college. One example is a study that originated in China, looking at how students there performed on the National College Entrance Exam.
And if you look at the evidence over many, many years, it looks like those who get a bad draw and take the test on a hot week do worse and get deprived of going to the most elite universities in the country.
As for why kids do worse in the heat, Graf-Ziven says lack of concentration and focus plays a role, but it's more physiological than anything else.
Chemicals are moving back and forth to tell our neurons what to do, and it turns out the performance of this fantastic organ we all carry around in our head is sensitive to temperature.
Graf-Ziven says with global warming, more extreme heat waves will become the norm here in San Diego. And while investments in infrastructure such as air conditioning will help, he suggests schools be more flexible when it comes to scheduling tests, similar to how some surf competitions are planned.
Exam is going to be in this 3-week window, but we're going to pay attention to the weather forecast and decide when exactly you're going to take this exam to give you the best opportunity to perform as well as you can.
Jordan Pickney likes that idea, saying when it's this hot, anything to alleviate student stress during these conditions would be a welcome change.
Teeter-totter of weather changes doesn't help at all when it comes to achieving academic success.
Shannon Handy, CBS 8.
Shannon, thank you. Well, months after a judge ruled the city of San Diego is overcharging water customers, the city has yet to pay up or make changes to its rates. Attorneys say it's costing local taxpayers millions. People were supposed to get refunds, but that hasn't happened yet. The city was also ordered to change rates or incur monthly fines. Shannon Handy also has more on what those fines are adding up to and how the city is responding.
This case affects an estimated 200,000 single-family residential customers. A judge found for years they've been overcharged, but the city hasn't paid up because they disagree, and they're appealing that ruling.
Under the California Constitution, city governments that provide services are not allowed to charge more for those services than it costs them to deliver. In this case, we're talking about water.
So whatever it costs to deliver water to a house, that's what they're allowed to charge, and they're not allowed to charge more than that.
Stephen Tyndall is a partner at Gibbs Law Firm. In 2017, they filed a lawsuit claiming the city of San Diego had been doing just that, specifically overcharging single-family residential customers in tiers 3 and 4, which are those who use more water than the average customer. In March of this year, a judge ruled against the city, saying they owed customers more than $79 million, dating back to 2014, which is the earliest the statute of limitations would allow.
In addition to that, the court said for every month after March 31, that amount goes up by an additional $643,000 until you, San Diego, change the water rates to make them constitutional.
Tyndall says so far, no customers have been reimbursed and no changes to rates have been made, resulting in even steeper penalties.
It's been 5 months since then. That's an additional over $3 million that the judgment has increased.
Tyndall estimates it breaks down to nearly $21,000 a day. So we went straight to the city to get their take on the matter. In a statement, a spokesperson for the city attorney's office said they are appealing the ruling, which, quote, if upheld, will benefit the top 20% of water-using single-family households in San Diego. These high-end water users will be enriched at the expense of the 80% of residential households that use less water. As the city does not profit from its tier water rates, the city will not pay whatever judgment the court awards. Rather, all San Diego water users will pay it through higher water rates. Adding their rate structure is perfectly legal and, quote, the city argues that the entire case should be dismissed as wrongly decided.
If the city wins the appeal, they'll be off the hook. If not, they'll have to give out those refunds and change rates. We'll keep you posted on what happens.
Appreciate it, Shannon. Thank you. Well, unexpected deaths can leave a victim's friends and family in shock, but crisis interventionists can make a big difference, offering comfort in a time of need. Well, the San Diego Police Department is currently looking for volunteers for its program. And as CBS 8's Steve Price reports, you don't need any prior training, just compassion and a few hours a month.
Do you have what it takes to help people when they really need a shoulder to lean on? Maybe their home just burned down or they've had an unexpected death. It takes a special person to be a crisis interventionist, and right now the San Diego Police Department is signing up volunteers for its program. The scenes can range from homicides and overdoses to suicides and fatal car crashes.
For a lot of the people that we deal with, this could be the worst day of their lives.
Bob Chambers has been a crisis interventionist for more than 6 years. His favorite part?
Feeling like I make a difference in people's lives. You know, there's been so many times that I left a scene and I felt like, you know, I was there for someone, you know, and I helped them out.
To volunteer, you don't need any special skills. They'll put you through a 100-hour training course, but they do require a 20-hour monthly commitment to be on call, and they ask that you stay in the program for at least a year.
They're everyday people doing extraordinary things.
Lieutenant Adam Sharkey says not only do they help people in need, but officers too, because they can stay on a scene for hours, freeing up police to handle other calls.
At the same time, this also allows officers who are trained in emergency response to go and handle other emergencies so that they're not here for hours on end when someone else who is very well trained can do the exact same service.
An Nguyen became a crisis interventionist after her father passed away. She says the comfort and kindness a nurse showed her made that tough situation a little bit easier. And while she does worry that sometimes she won't know exactly the right thing to say, she knows compassion can go a long way.
I feel like if I just kind of speak from the heart, you know, the message will come across that, you know, I care, I'm here for you. We're doing this together. We're getting through this together.
2 informational meetings will be held at San Diego Police Headquarters this Thursday at 6 p.m. and Saturday at 10 a.m. Because of the city's diverse communities, residents who are fluent in a second language are definitely appreciated. In downtown, Steve Price, CBS 8.
Yeah, truly thankful for those who step up. So as I continue to take you around San Diego, El Cajon's mayor says he's frustrated, accusing the county of dumping homeless individuals in his town. Right now, about 1/5 of El Cajon's hotel rooms are being occupied by people with hotel vouchers. Mayor Bill Wells says that at least 2 motels are fully occupied with homeless individuals using a voucher. But a couple of county supervisors are taking exception to the mayor's claims. They say they are misleading, and El Cajon needs to do its part in combating the homelessness crisis. Well, a new homeless shelter is now open in the Midway District. The Rosecrans shelter opened Monday and has up to 150 beds for people experiencing homelessness. People staying at the shelter can get meals, shower, do laundry, and even have access to storage areas. The shelter also offers mental health and drug treatment services, as well as help finding permanent housing. The county, city, and Lucky Duck Foundation work together to get the shelter up and running in just 6 months. And people experiencing homelessness will soon be able to turn to a new shelter downtown. The former Central Library has been vacant for a decade, but it's now being converted into a short-term shelter. San Diego had its highest homeless count downtown in 10 years last month. Over 1,600 people are living on the street. The shelter will open during inclement weather starting in November. And the project will cost about $35,000. Well, the plan to transform the aging sports arena into an entertainment district took another step forward. The San Diego City Council voted 7-1 on the Midway Rising redevelopment plan. Tuesday's vote was not a final development plan. This just means that the city will now exclusively negotiate with those involved in the Midway Rising plan. And keep in mind, Measure C that aims to raise the height limit in the Midway district would need to pass in November for all of this to move forward. Now, if it does, the city has a vision to redevelop that space that hasn't seen a lot of change since it was built in the 1960s. The plan is to bring housing, jobs, and a new 16,000-seat sports arena to the area. There will also be a hotel and room for retail and open park space. The current plan includes more than 4,000 new homes. Half of those would be considered affordable housing. That's one of the reasons council members say this plan was picked.
I believe that the Midway Rising project is going to do the best job in providing affordable housing, which has been the #1 concern on everyone that I've known and talked to in this city.
The selection of Midway Rising does have its critics. The development team includes 3 main companies: Zephyr Partners, Chelsea Investment Corp, and Legends Global. At the council meeting, people complained that the owner of Zephyr and his wife donated more than $100,000 to Mayor Todd Gloria's 2020 election campaign. The mayor's office denies past contributions played any role in his support of Midway Rising. The city says they have also investigated past litigation involving Zephyr and still recommend moving forward. The Midway Rising team reached out to us, saying in part they are committed to delivering an inclusive, affordable, and economically vibrant community. Well, several San Diego streets are getting a much-needed makeover. Road repairs projects kicked off Wednesday, all part of Mayor Todd Gloria's Sexy Streets program to fix damaged roads. They are calling it that, not us. People on Limerick Avenue in Claremont had complained about their road for years, and now they have fresh new pavement. Dozens more streets are set for repair. And San Diego's aging storm drain system will also be getting some much-needed funding. Mayor Todd Gloria joined EPA leaders in Torrey Pines to sign off on a federal loan that will help the city invest up to $733 million in stormwater infrastructure. That includes pipeline replacements, pump station repairs, and watershed restoration. Mayor Gloria says all San Diegans will benefit from the upgrades because they'll prevent flooding and water pollution that comes from stormwater.
Being able to take these dollars and replace those aged facilities, 70, 80 plus years old, really critical to making sure we can maintain safety in those neighborhoods. So we're doing absolutely everything we can to do work as fast as possible to make sure that we protect our beaches and bays.
Yeah, over 80 projects will take place over the next 5 years, and the work will reportedly create 1,500 jobs. And city leaders also met this week in Ocean Beach, which will discuss options and costs to replace the pier. Throughout the years, the pier has undergone several structural repairs. It was shut down several times after storm damage in 2019, and 2021 sparked emergency repair projects. CBS 8 contacted the Strategic Capital Projects Department to find out how much it could cost. Leaders tell us a less costly project is no longer possible, and that a full replacement of the pier is necessary.
Ultimately, the pier is projected to cost upwards of $80 to $100 million at the end, depending on the scope. All of that is really in flux at this point.
Yeah, it's so great out there. Stay with CBS8.com for developments. Also, a major step in improving international travel with Mexico at the Otay Mesa East Port of Entry. This week, leaders announced a $150 million federal grant to build a new toll road. They say the new road will help reduce wait times and improve binational commerce. The new port and highway infrastructure are expected to open in 2024. And the city of Chula Vista voted on an ordinance that will stop the distribution of flavored tobacco in the area. This comes after the city, as well as other South Bay neighborhoods, are considered to have the highest early deaths caused by chronic disease. CBS 8's Regina Urita was at that meeting.
Tonight, the city of Chula Vista voted in favor to ban flavored tobacco products. In a unanimous vote, it is now illegal to sell or distribute tobacco products here in the city.
Children are way more susceptible to purchasing these items, especially from peer pressure and the targeting from major companies.
Enough is the ultimate message these students had for city council members about flavored tobacco products. Many speaking at the meeting demanded leaders vote for the proposed ordinance that could make tobacco products unlawful to sell or distribute in the city. Business owners, on the other hand, are upset that city staff did not include them in the city study when gathering data on the impact tobacco is having.
As you discuss item 8.2, I implore you to consider who flavored tobacco products are really tailored to.
The products already banned in the cities of San Diego, Encinitas, Imperial Beach, and unincorporated areas of the county. Others in support of the ban argue the products are harmful, and the only group that benefits from the sale of them are tobacco companies.
Like flavored e-cigarettes be kind of a gateway to more intense, I guess, substances.
According to the National Youth Tobacco Survey in 2021, more than 2 million kids nationwide used e-cigarettes, and 85% of them use flavored tobacco products. However, tobacco companies say a ban is the wrong action to take.
We are not big tobacco, obviously. We are a small business owner.
They say they take pride in their businesses and have enforced the law of not selling tobacco products to minors, adding that a law will only cause a significant loss of revenue to small convenience stores.
We are really 2 months away from the whole state of California. Every citizen is going to tell them what they think, how they believe, if this ban relevant or not. By the time this ordinance is implemented, it will be less than a month away. I want to know, what was the urgency?
This new ordinance will now go into effect January 1st of next year. Reporting in Chula Vista for CBS 8, I'm Regina Urita.
Regina, thanks. And another top story this week, President Biden made another push for his cancer moonshot, which he hopes will, quote, end cancer as we know it. Deborah Alfarone talked with people affected by cancer who say they hope the president's initiative will result in better and more equitable outcomes.
We choose to go to the moon.
60 years after President John F. Kennedy's famous moonshot speech, President Joe Biden traveled to JFK's home state of Massachusetts to tout new steps in his own cancer moonshot.
The goal is to cut cancer death rates by at least 50% in the next 25 years. To turn more cancers from death sentences into chronic diseases people can live with.
The National Cancer Institute is launching a major national study to identify blood tests for early cancer detection that will eventually enroll thousands of participants. It's also opened a new grant opportunity to invest in the next generation of cancer researchers early in their careers. In addition, the president is taking executive action to develop cutting-edge biotechnologies in the U.S.
The president first launched his Cancer Moonshot initiative when he was vice president back in 2016 after his son Beau died of brain cancer. He reignited his deeply personal ambition earlier this year.
Kellen Morey hopes the president's push will save many lives, even though it's too late for her wife, Patricia Moreno. She died from cervical cancer earlier this year at age 57.
Early detection in my wife's case would have saved her life.
My being alive today is a miracle.
16-year breast cancer survivor Mayma Carmo says the Biden administration's stated focus on equity is also key in the fight against cancer.
Until we find a way to have people of color have better equitable options in clinical trials and treatments, we will have collateral damage, and that damage will be people's lives.
President Biden has also said that he hopes fighting cancer is an idea that can unite the country and show the world that anything is possible. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
There is hope, right? Well, the president says he intends to name Dr. Renee Regerson as the first head of his new Advanced Research Projects Agency. The agency was created to improve the government's ability to speed up progress toward treating all major illnesses. Well, the county administration building is lit up green and red in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. The month-long celebration officially started on September 15th, a significant date for Latinos. Several Latin American countries celebrate their independence that day. The Mexican Consulate of San Diego also hosted a kickoff party honoring Hispanic Heritage Month. It marks the beginning of the Mexican War of Independence from Spanish forces. I thought we might have had some sound for you there, but we'll move on. So this year, a grito or shout out will once again happen from the balcony of the Mexican Consulate General in San Diego's Little Italy. Well, we are getting a close look at something that few people have ever seen in person. 2 Megamouth sharks were spotted off of our coast this week. The sharks have only been seen a few hundred times throughout history. CBS 8's Jasmine Ramirez introduces us to the fishermen who had a close encounter with these sharks.
The fishermen were about 30 miles off the coast when they saw these sharks. The best part is they captured it all on video.
Take a look at this. You can see not 1, but 2 Megamouth sharks swimming underneath the boat.
We didn't really process the rarity of the situation until later on.
Val, David, and Andrew say they weren't catching many fish, but instead caught a glimpse of something much more special.
Right when we got right close to it, he threw out, "Oh my gosh, I think that's a megamouth."
Andrew recognized the rare species right away. He and his friends went to Scripps Institution of Oceanography to confirm what they saw.
I think with each other person we were put in contact with, the gravity of everything just kind of like started to sink in with us that, oh my God, we truly had a out of this world unique experience.
It was a unique experience for several reasons. Researcher Dovie Cassif says Megamouth sharks are so rare, we don't know how many exist.
Oh, they spend the majority of their time in deep water, pretty far offshore, but there's just a lot of unknowns about them. We don't know where they're spending all of their time and the majority of their time because we see them so infrequently.
The sighting comes as a whale shark was spotted near San Diego last week. Dovie says the warm ocean waters may be impacting the behavior of the marine life. When it comes to Megamouth sharks, most sightings are around Southeast Asia. The sharks get caught in fishing gear, making this sighting of them swimming even more rare. Andrew was told he has the only known footage of 2 Megamouths together.
The thing with fishing is, what keeps me going out of, so I've been fishing all my life, and what keeps me going back into the water is you just never know what you're going to find. I mean, I thought I had seen it all at this point, but, who would have thought that I was going to see 2 Megamouth sharks?
And researchers are meeting with the fishermen tomorrow morning to document the sighting in a scientific journal. Reporting at La Jolla, Jasmine Ramirez, CBS 8.
Whew, I swim in that water, but wow, that is just incredible to see. As always, thank you for your time. Thank you for staying informed. Hope you join me each week as I take you around San Diego. For CBS 8, I'm Jenny Day. Take good care.